So I'm going to try to figure this out here. So as you know, veterans and military people like to be on time. So we are starting right at 11 o'clock, so that is good. I think it'd be appropriate for all of us right now to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you can be seated. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. Today we are here to honor those that served on active duty during the times of the Vietnam War. So the dates that we use for this are November 1st, 1955 to May 15th, 1975. So we are honoring the veterans that served and also the family members that are of those veterans. So today what I want to do, we're going to talk about, it's a little bit of a history lesson in a way. I will be reading the proclamations from our county, from our governor, from President Trump, and also from President Biden. I'm not reading all of them in their entirety, so it's okay. But there's some important points that I want to bring out with these proclamations. And then we're going to talk about the Commemorative Partner Program, which many of you may know about and may have been to one of my events that I've had over the years. We started when I became the service officer back in 2016 is when I started that. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll just end with a few closing remarks, and I'm just grateful for all of you that are here today. So I'm going to start by reading our proclamation from our county. And it's a proclamation in honor of National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Whereas the Vietnam War was fought in Vietnam from 1961 to 1975 and involved North Vietnam and the Viet Cong in conflict with the United States Armed Forces in South Vietnam. And whereas in 1965, United States Armed Forces ground combat units arrived in Vietnam, and whereas by the end of 1965, there were 80,000 United States troops in Vietnam, and by 1969, a peak of approximately 543,000 troops was reached. And whereas 9 million Americans served on active duty during the official Vietnam era from August 5th, 1964 to May 7th, 1975. Approximately 2.7 million Americans served in uniform in Vietnam, and 262 service members received the nation's highest military decoration for valor, the Medal of Honor, during the Vietnam War. And whereas more than 58,000 members of the United States Armed Forces lost their lives in Vietnam, more than 300,000 members of the Armed Forces were wounded, and 1,584 Americans went missing in action but are not forgotten. And whereas the families of over 9 million service members who served during the Vietnam era supported their loved ones in uniform, but also experienced great sacrifices and suffering during this time. And whereas the people of Lincoln County have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for the service members who have selflessly served their country and fellow citizens and appreciate the sacrifices of our military families. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Lincoln County, South Dakota, by the affirmative action and declaration of the Board of County Commissioners in honor of National Vietnam War Veterans Day, does hereby bestow gratitude upon and recognition of the contributions of our veterans that served during the time of the Vietnam War. Dated this 29th day of March 2022, signed Tiffany Landine, Chairperson of the Lincoln County Commissioners. This is a part of Governor Noem's proclamation, and again, like I said, there's some very important parts to these proclamations, and it gives you a better understanding of why we're here today and why we're celebrating today. Whereas more than 27,000 South Dakotans served valiantly under difficult circumstances during the Vietnam War, and 210 made the ultimate sacrifice. And whereas the Vietnam War is a story of service members of different backgrounds, races, and creeds who came together to complete a daunting mission. It is a story of Americans from every corner of our nation who left the warmth of family to serve the country they loved. It is a story of patriots who braved the line of fire, who cast themselves into harm's way to save a friend, who fought hour after hour, day after day to preserve the liberties we hold dear. And whereas this is a day to pay tribute to the fallen, the missing, the wounded, the millions who served, and the millions more who awaited their return. Back in 2017, President Trump established March 29th as National Vietnam War Veterans Day. And there is a proclamation for this, and I do have copies of that if anybody would like that after we have our program. But I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs from here because it does give a very good background explanation of this day. To ensure the sacrifices of the 9 million heroes who served during this difficult chapter of our country's history are remembered for generations to come, I signed into law the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act of 2017, designating March 29th of each year as National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Throughout this commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, and every March 29th thereafter, we will honor all those who answered our nation's call to duty. We vow never again confuse personal disapproval of war and prejudice against those who honorably wear the uniform of our armed forces. With conviction, our nation pledges our enduring respect, our continuing care, and our everlasting commitment to all Vietnam veterans. We applaud the thousands of local, state, and national organizations, businesses, and governmental entities that have already partnered with the federal government in the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. Because of their remarkable leadership and dedication, countless Vietnam veterans and their families have been personally and publicly thanked and honored in ceremonies in towns and cities throughout our country. During my administration, I promise to continue coordinated efforts to recognize all veterans of the Vietnam War for their service and sacrifice, and to provide them with the heartfelt acknowledgement and gratitude that they and their families so richly deserve. And finally, President Biden's proclamation. This was published yesterday. A proclamation on the commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. On National Vietnam War Veterans Day, we honor all those who bravely served in the Vietnam War and who sacrificed, as did their families and caregivers, on behalf of our nation. For almost 2 decades, Americans raised their right hands and committed to serve and defend our Constitution as uniformed members of the United States Armed Forces during a tumultuous period in our country's history. Throughout the years of the Vietnam War, 9 million Americans earned the title of United States veteran. Today and every day, we honor their bravery and commitment and give thanks to a generation of Americans who valiantly fought in the service of the country they love, while recognizing the continuing impact on so many veterans of the Vietnam conflict, along with their families, caregivers, and survivors. We will always remember those we lost and honor those who came home. In 2012, our nation launched a 13-year-long commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War to ensure that every veteran, family, caregiver, and survivor impacted by the difficult years in Vietnam feels our nation's gratitude for their service. Every service member of the Vietnam generation should know that their sacrifices mattered and that their service made a difference. The names etched in the wall at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial remind us of our loved ones who gave their all and never came home. To the families, caregivers, and survivors of the more than 58,000 service members whose names are memorialized in the black granite, we pledge never to forget the eternal sacrifice of your loved ones and what you have sacrificed for the nation. To the families of the over 1,500 service members who remain missing and unaccounted for, know that our nation's efforts to bring them home will never stop. We pledge our steadfast care and support to our Vietnam veterans, as we do for all of our veterans. We will honor our sacred obligation to you and your family. And to each of the 6 million Vietnam War-era veterans who are with us today, we honor your service and all that you have done for our nation. Now, therefore, I, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby affirm this nation's commitment to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, which began on Memorial Day, May 28, 2012, and will continue through Veterans Day, November 11, 2025. I call upon all Americans to seek out and extend the nation's profound gratitude to each of our Vietnam veterans and their families and caretakers during public ceremonies and programs throughout the country, while expressing deep compassion for the families of the fallen, those who remain missing and accounted for, and all others who served yet no longer walk among us. So I mentioned the Commemorative Partner Program, and with that, there have been pins that have been presented to the Vietnam veterans, and so I do have those pins available today, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the pins. Many of you may have received them. If you have not, there will be an opportunity here in just a minute for you to get your pin, but I wanted to talk about that because the pin itself is small, but it has a lot of meaning behind it. There's an eagle for our national emblem. The blue circle matches the canton of the American flag and signifies vigilance, perseverance, and justice. The laurel wreath is a time-honored symbol representing victory, integrity, and strength. The stripes behind the eagle represent the American flag. And the stars, and this is something I didn't know until just recently, the 6 stars represent the 6 allies who served, sacrificed, and fought alongside one another. Those allies are Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, the Republic of Korea, Thailand, and the United States. And on the back of the pin, there is a message: a grateful nation thanks and honors you. So at this time, I would like to, if you served during the time period that I mentioned at the beginning, raise your hand. I just want to get a show of hands of everybody. So take a look around. There's a lot of people here in this room that have served. And are there any veterans in this group that have not received their Commemorative Partner pin yet? Okay, all right. So at this time, I would like to present those pins to you. So line up. You should be good at that. What? I said to line up. Come on now. We're going to hand these out. I'm also going to be presenting you with the certificate from President Trump as well. So, okay. Thank you. I think there's 2 there. Yeah. Thank you. What's that? Oh my, there is a lot. No, we're good. It's okay to take your time on some things. So. I'm going to need more stuff. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It really is an honor for me to be able to do this and to have thanked each of you that have received the pins today. There's a second pin, and this is new to me, and I just, as a commemorative partner, found out that we are having these pins available too. And these are the pins for the spouse of a deceased veteran. And so to me, that's a very special recognition. Because families, as we know, families also serve their country, and they're serving their spouse that's serving their country. And so the pin that I have here is, it is small again, but it is to be worn over your heart. It has the blue star, which is symbolic of the Blue Star family during a veteran's period of service. And the red circle represents the sacrifice of both the veteran and their family in service to our country. The blue circle matches the canton of the American flag and signifies vigilance, perseverance, and justice. And the laurel wreath, a time-honored symbol representing victory, integrity, and strength. And on the back, there is a message: a grateful nation honors the service and sacrifice of your family. And that is embossed on the back, and as like I said, you wear it closest to your heart. So I don't know, are there any spouses here that have not received a pin, or would like to receive their pin? He's coming. Thank you to the spouses. It's hard, I know. And I am grateful for all that you've done to support your veteran and what you continue to do to support other veterans. Let's see, I have a few remarks that are my own, not from somebody that is, more important than I am, but I just think it's time for me to say some things. I don't think there's anyone here that would argue with me that when you served during the time of the Vietnam War, things were not good. And, our country did not do a good job of recognizing and thanking you for taking the oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Although we can't change the past, we can do better in the future, and that's why we're doing this today. And that is why the Department of Defense established Vietnam War Commemoration, the Partnership Program, and then President Trump established March 29th as a day to honor all of you. On a personal note, I would like to thank you for using your coming home experiences as an impetus to change and make the homecomings better for the servicemen and women who followed you. Because of you, how we view the members of our armed forces is vastly different from when you served. You led the way in rallying our communities and our country to give our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and the Marines the recognition and support they deserved after their time of service. As someone who followed your example to serve our country, I want to thank you for welcoming home me after Desert Storm, which was over 30 years ago now, and for welcoming home every other returning serviceman or woman honorably. Because of you, those serving now in our armed forces get the recognition they deserve. Because of you, our nation knows and understands the responsibility and duty to honor our servicemen and women. Because of you, I know that my 3 children who are currently serving in the Army will someday come home from a deployment and their community and country will show them the respect that they and their fellow soldiers deserve. Because of you, I am very grateful. I'd like to thank Reed Rasmussen, who's here from Dusty Johnson's office. So if you have anything that you would like to let him know about, I'm sure he'd be happy to talk with you. I would like to thank the commissioners that are here today, and for what really I want to say, thank you for letting me be the Lincoln County Veteran Service Officer. It is an absolute honor and privilege to work with veterans and their families every day. And it's not work. It is, I'm blessed. And so, to know all of you and to work with you. And my coworkers who are here today, thank you. I know that a lot of times we interact between our offices, and I appreciate all of your support with that. And most importantly, I would like to thank all of you veterans that were here today, whether you served during the Vietnam era or you served before or after that. Thank you for taking the oath to serve our country. We have the best country in the United States, or in the world, in the United States, and we are able to do things that no other countries are able to do. And I appreciate all that we've done to uphold the Constitution and to let our families live in a country that's safe and where we have our freedoms. So this concludes the program. If you have anything that you would like to, if you want to talk with me afterwards, I'll be here. If you want me to give you a call later, I have a sheet here where you could write your contact information down, because if you talk to me now, I may not remember. And again, thank you for being here today. This was a great turnout, and I would like to see Lincoln County do something annually. Maybe it's not here, but maybe we do something, make it a bigger event. So if you are interested in helping me figure that out, talk to me as well. So thank you so much.
Susan, Lincoln County is third in the state for veterans.
It is, yes. Jim just told me, yeah, Lincoln County has the third highest population of veterans in the state of South Dakota. So we're getting there.
Minnehaha, Pennington.
Yep.
Susan, I worked at the Vet Center, which was attached to VA, and it was a special program for Vietnam veterans for readjustment counseling. And we went through a lot of training all over the United States, and we found out that South Dakota, of the veterans who went into the military from South Dakota had the most people that went to Vietnam.
Wow.
Yeah, was really interesting.
Yeah.
78%.
Encourage everybody to sign up for the Midwest Honor Flight.
Okay. Yes, that's another thing. The Midwest Honor Flight is back on, and they're going on missions again. So if you have not been on an honor flight, now's the time to get your name on the list. And you never know, you might get to go, on the next mission. That changes a lot. And if you have any questions about honor flight, talk to Bill Kortemeyer over there, because he's volunteered, and they also are looking for volunteers for that program as well. Okay.
Got the website for Midwest Honor Flight in my pocket. You want a copy of it now?
And Aaron Van Beek is getting a different job,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
with
All,
corporate, I think.
all right. Thank you so much for being here, and I kept it under a half an hour, so I'm happy about that too. So feel free to take any of the information or magnets or buttons on the table there. And again, thanks for being here.
Thank you for all you do for us.
Yeah.